What's going on, everyone? Just the Buzz here. If you're new to the channel, I make daily Charlotte Hornets content, so if that interests you, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. If you cannot tell by the thumbnail title of this video, in today's video, we're going to be talking about how there is a culture change in Charlotte. Now, that is something that someone like me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you other guys, have been asking for in Charlotte, and it starts now. It starts with seasons like this, and I think we're starting to see it. Now, whether it will stick, I have no idea, but this is the start. I'm sorry, I'm still a little sick, but I just have to record. Like I'm going too long without recording, but when you want to start a culture change, these are the type of seasons that you go through to where how you handle this season can be the start of something really special, despite the outcome of the season, record-wise. So they are important times. These are very important times, and that the head of the culture change is Steve Clifford. So, like I rambled long enough. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, like I said, there has been, I think this is the start of a culture change with the Charlotte Hornets. You have Steve Clifford holding guys accountable. We know after every game, he'll tell you what the team did right, what the team did wrong. He has no problem telling you what the team did right. Like, he was like, oh, James Bouknight played well. Nick Richards, I love that guy. Or even in between, like when we're talking about with practices, he's talking about how PJ Washington's coming along. Like I said, Nick Richards. Kelly Oubre's doing a good job. Gordon Hayward, Mason Plum. He's not afraid to give the guys their props. However, he's definitely not afraid to let people know when they are not doing well. Now, granted, he doesn't single anybody out, which I respect. There's no need to, unless there's certain situations where you can single people out, and he is a new coach on a new team, but he doesn't necessarily always single people out. But he does be like, oh, this guy, knows that he needs to do this, so it's not like it's not going to catch anybody off guard, But he is not afraid to say, we didn't play good basketball. We didn't do X, Y, and Z, and that's why we didn't play good basketball. That's not something we got from James Borrego. And I'm not going to sit here this whole video and compare James Borrego to Steve Clifford. That's just not what I'm going to do. But it's just important to see what happens when you hold your players accountable for what they do on the court. So, we've seen in these 3 games, guys mess up. There's no walking up the court with your head down. It's a lot of, all right, let's go, next play, and then they correct it literally 2 plays later. Watching these games, it seems it's difficult for teams to run the same play twice on us because Steve Clifford has already adjusted. At least if they can get a timeout in between, you know what I mean? Like, if you run the same play back to back, fine. But if you run the same play, one play in the first quarter and try to run again in the third, I'm not going to say it doesn't always work. However, it's not as easy as it was the first time because Steve Clifford is not afraid to make adjustments. Steve Clifford is making adjustments the whole game. And, like, if you watch him on the side of the court, he's not just standing there. And like I said, I'm not trying to compare. But once again, I feel like this coaching change was like a blessing in disguise because it is igniting the culture change in this organization. Like I said, this could easily just go to the wayside. We know Steve Clifford didn't sign up for a rebuilding project, so if the Hornets were going to rebuild and Steve Clifford wasn't comfortable with that, could he go? I don't know. But I would like for him to stay. And if he does stay, like I said, this season is very important because a lot of the guys on this team will actually be on the next team, whatever they do. Whether the team decides to go for playoffs or tank, either way, we still don't know yet. Either way the team goes, a lot of these guys will still be on the same team. To be honest, you would be missing Kelly Oubre, Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier, maybe PJ. Everybody else you can expect to be around. At least longer than those other guys. At least longer than Terry, Gordon, and Kelly Oubre. So, I think that you want to instill this culture, instill this mindset into these guys because these young guys are going to be part of the next team. And shout out to the veterans. I mean, the veterans they're adjusting too. This is an adjustment period for everybody. It's not just the young guys. But shout out to Kelly Oubre, who his game has changed. You can tell from last year to this year, his game is completely different. It's not that he couldn't do that. He was doing some of the things he's doing now. He was doing early in his career. with the Wizards, with the Suns, with the Warriors. He was doing it before he came to Charlotte, but last year in Charlotte, he kind of, I don't know if James Borrego wanted him to shoot those threes the way he was, but he was hitting. And so why change that? However, when it started getting cold, I don't know if Kelly Oubre failed to make that adjustment because part of that is him, or did James Borrego say, hey, keep shooting? And Steve Clifford said, hey, what you're doing is fine. However, you're settling a lot. And Kelly Oubre literally is becoming, I wouldn't say becoming, but he is playing like, and it's only been 3 games, but he's playing like one of those guys who I personally like to watch, like the DeMar DeRozans and guys like that, where they know where their spots are, and they will be patient until they get to their spots. Once they get their spot, they'll figure it out. Gordon Hayward is actually one of those guys. Gordon Hayward is a guy who I really enjoy his game. You can't really rush it. I mean, sometimes he does make these bad decisions where he kind of goes into the paint and then kind of try to toss it out. He's been doing that this year. I don't really like it. That's not Gordon Hayward-esque. He normally plays, he's a little more careful with the ball, but Kelly Oubre is doing a really good job, and that's my point. My point is, look at Terry Rozier when he was playing those 2 games, ball handling, being a point guard. He's done it before. However, Steve Clifford, I feel like, has really just helped him really maximize that potential, because Terry Rozier was doing a really good job at a point guard position, and that's not a position he normally plays. Especially for Charlotte. I mean, he was kind of doing it, but it was kind of like carryover minutes. It wasn't real point guard. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, we'll put you at the point guard, but we're not really expecting you to be point guard. No, he's expected to play point guard, those 2 games, and he did. So this is just the start of a culture change. I keep saying it over and over again. That's honestly because I'm so happy. I feel like this is what the team needs. I've said during the summer that it was just frustrating because win, lose, or draw, however good, however talented this team may be, or it could be, and at the time, Miles didn't do whatever he did and all these things. It was frustrating because it was like, no matter who we get on this team, the culture is still just so trash, for lack of a better word. It's so just nonchalant that we could become a really talented team, and I feel like we still wouldn't have what it took to get over the hump because of the culture. But you install a culture like this, LaMelo Ball's left over. Let's say Steve Clifford leaves this year, but LaMelo Ball, James Bouknight even, they take what they've learned from Steve Clifford as far as just being a leader, as far as being a professional, and carry it over to the next team, whatever that team may look like. I mean, that's scary. James Bouknight gets into his bag. LaMelo Ball is LaMelo Ball. Things go from there. It's just different to me, and I'm just so happy to see just guys playing hard. Like there was one thing, and I mentioned it on Twitter. So follow me on Twitter. I'll put the link down in the description below. But I mentioned on Twitter how there was this one play. I posted a thread of just like small things I noticed from the Hawks game. And it's easy to post clips on there, so that's why I just keep saying follow me on Twitter, because I can post those clips without having to worry about my video ever getting taken down. But anyway, I posted this video of Dennis Smith Jr., and basically what happened was somehow he got switched on to Capella. I can't remember off the top of my head, but somehow he got switched on to Capella, and obviously Capella just scored. Or maybe it was a Kwanu. I don't know. Anyway, he basically was just like clapping and just like yelling. We didn't have that last year. And I'm not gonna put all down Steve Clifford. Like, that's Dennis Smith Jr., the player. You know what I mean? He takes pride on defense, and that's what defense is. It's a lot of effort and pride. And we in having players like that on this team, I think it's just only going to do the team better and better and better. It's going to make us better and better and better. And he was just barking and just like, well, let's get it right, And we saw how the game ended up being. You just have those guys with that dog mentality, literally. I feel like nowadays the dog mentality is just thrown around here and there, where it's like, oh, this guy's really good, he's a dog. Oh, he wants to be really good. It's a difference between just being good and just being very talented and just having that go-getter for basketball, and then really just being a dog, as in like, I want to do the best at whatever I do. I don't care how I do it. I don't care what it takes, but I want to be the best. I want the people around me to succeed. That's the type of guy Dennis Smith Jr. is. Dennis Smith Jr. is literally a dog. I feel like, Ja Morant, as as it, polarizing it may be for some people, Ja Morant is a dog. Ja Morant is like, I don't care what it takes. I'm going to show you I'm better. I'm going to do better. I'm going to get better. I'm going to play better. And everybody around me is going to succeed as well. And we're all going to get better and beat you. That's dog mentality. And we don't have enough guys on the team to do that. However, that's where Steve Clifford comes in, where he necessarily doesn't have a dog mentality, but he does have just that hustle and ambitious mentality that can cover for the same. Just because you don't have a dog mentality doesn't mean you can't win, but just that hustling and ambitious, that tenacity, that is what overall as a team you can have and win. And you get a couple dogs in there, like I said, and then boom, this team is a completely different team. Cody Martin, dog. I feel like Cody Martin really is. So it's just like, and like LaMelo, I wouldn't give him necessarily the dog mentality, but he has that, I do want to be better. I'm tenacious rather, about just perfecting my game and getting better. But he doesn't have that it factor as far as just straight up dog. But once again, you don't have to have it. LeBron, to me, doesn't have it. And look how successful LeBron has been. To me, I think he's been very successful. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think, but I really think the culture is changing. Like I said, you don't have to have the dog mentality to be, a great team, a great player. There's plenty of great players. Like Jason Tatum doesn't have that dog mentality, but he's front runner for MVP right now. So it's just, but you do need dogs on your team. Your star player doesn't have to be the dog. Kawhi Leonard, to me, he doesn't have that dog mentality. He has other qualities about him that make him so good, that make him so great. So LaMelo, I feel like, is on that Kawhi Leonard type, LeBron James, Jason Tatum spectrum as far as the way he approaches the game. But you match that with some guys who do the dirty work for you in our dogs. That's how you slowly build a team. And everybody just knows their role, especially on this team. Everybody knows their role. Everybody knows what they need to do in order for the whole team to be successful. And I feel like that's something that was missing last year. Last year, I felt like the mentality was, let's just all play basketball. And if we do well, that should help us win. But there was no structure behind it. I feel like this year it's like, all right, Terry Rozier, if you play make a little more, we can be successful. All right, Kelly Oubre, if you are a little more selective with your shots, we could be successful. Mason Plumlee, if you just get out the way, we could be a little more successful. PJ, if you could just, your offense, we do want you to take a step, but we really just need you to guard all 5 positions and be able to switch. If you can do that, we'll be, so everybody knows what they need to do in order for the whole team to be successful. And I think that's really what we're seeing here. And win, lose, or draw, I don't care. I just like this mentality that the team is playing with. And but like I said, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. This video was actually a little long, and I'm sorry, and I might have rambled a little bit, but I just haven't been able to talk to you guys for real in so long. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. And I'm probably going to record a Knicks preview. That's our next game. And I watched the Knicks play the Magic yesterday, and there's just some things I want to talk about to maybe, help. Considering also Cody Martin, LaMelo, and Terry Rozier maybe might play tomorrow, so that would be cool too. So I'll probably post that video tomorrow or before the game, and then do a post game after. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.